Wood has always been part of our lives. It's in the homes we grew up in, the kitchen tables where families gathered, and even the bridges that have carried communities for generations. For many of us, it was simply there, steady, reliable, so familiar we hardly stopped to think where it came from. Back in the day, logging was a different world. Men with hand saws, double-bit axes, and struggled just to move timber out of the woods. It was slow, it was punishing, and most of the tree went to waste. The top, the bark, the crooked cuts, and the sawdust were left behind. More than 70% of every tree was lost. That was just the way things were. Now the story couldn't be more different. In today's mills, a log is scanned by lasers, mapped by computers, and cut with precision in a matter of seconds. Nearly 100% of every tree is put to use, from strong beams and framing lumber to pellets that heat homes through the winter. Nothing is wasted. And the scale of the industry is just as striking. In the United States alone, wood and forest products generate about $288 billion each year, equal to roughly 4% of the nation's manufacturing GDP. It's a remarkable shift, from sweat and hand tools to technology and sustainability. And the journey is far from over. Stay with Iron Age as we follow wood from forest to finished product. Out in the deep woods, the journey of lumber begins with the fall of a tree. A faller chooses the direction carefully, then carves a V-shaped notch at the base, called the undercut. That notch acts as a hinge, steering the trunk as it comes down, protecting both the crew and the valuable wood inside. Next comes the back cut, a horizontal slice set just above the notch. On paper it sounds simple, but with trees 3 or 4 feet across, reality is never quite that neat. That's when the old skills come in. A good logger knows how to open the notch wider or cut a window to free the holding wood that still clings to the stump. He listens to the tree like a doctor with a patient. The creak of fibers, the sharp pop of the hinge starting to fail. And when that big cedar or hemlock finally tips and crashes into the duff, you know you've won a small battle with nature. For the giants, the weapon of choice remains the gas-powered saw, 36 or 42-inch bars, chains tuned to the wood. Too sharp, and the chain bites too deep into harder woods like hemlock. Not sharp enough, and cedar fibers bog the saw down. Getting it right takes judgment earned the hard way. Do you remember that sound from your younger days? The deep thud of timber hitting the ground, echoing across a valley? Alongside the craft of hand felling, modern forestry leans heavily on machines that deliver productivity and safety at levels earlier generations could only dream of. These systems don't just drop a tree, they process it right there on the spot, cutting limbs, bucking to length, and reducing the risks that once cost time and lives. Across Europe and North America, 2 machines stand out. The harvester, with its hydraulic cutting head, grips a stem, saws it off, strips the branches, and sections the log within minutes, all while recording diameter and length for managers to track. The feller buncher is built for speed, slicing through multiple trees and stacking them in tidy bundles ready for skidders or trucks. Each machine can replace a crew of 10 or 15 men, reshaping the way forests are worked. And yet, when a giant pushes past 30 inches across, the old-school faller with his chainsaw still has the final say. Logging and forest services in the U.S. generated $21.6 billion in 2022, but the real value lies in sustainability. Managed forests mean every tree harvested is part of a cycle of regrowth. Once the tree is down, it's limbed, measured, and skidded into a deck, ready for the next stage of its journey. The next challenge is moving thousands of pounds of timber through rough country. In steep terrain, cable yarding systems take over. Steel lines stretched between towers or anchored to tall trees, hauling logs up slopes where trucks can't go. A single yarder can replace dozens of tractors while keeping crews safer on the ground. On gentler terrain, skidders are the workhorses of modern logging. Equipped with grapple arms or winches, they can pull multiple logs at once, quickly dragging them to a landing, saving both time and cost. And wherever a road reaches the woods, trucks rule. Oregon alone ships over 3.5 billion board feet of lumber each year, and across America more than 100,000 logging trucks keep the supply chain moving. Before trucks and highways ruled the industry, rivers once carried the weight of America's timber. Through much of the 20th century, whole log drives filled the waterways, men in spiked boots balancing on rolling logs, steering with pike poles as the current did the heavy lifting. By the 1970s, concerns over salmon runs and river health had greatly reduced log driving in the U.S., leaving only small-scale or heritage demonstrations as reminders of a rugged culture now fading. It might surprise you to know that long before today's highways, logs also moved on rails and cranes built just for the woods. This was the age of logging railroads. By the 1920s, the U.S. had more than 40,000 miles of track laid solely for timber, snaking deep into valleys where no highway would ever reach. Whole trains of logs rolled daily to the mills. At river landings, overhead cranes and high-line loaders swung stems onto barges bound for coastal sawmills. Even today, at certain ports, gantry cranes still unload Canadian and Alaskan logs straight from ships. Though mostly gone, these methods remind us just how vast and resourceful the logging industry once was. After the long haul from forest to mill, the real transformation begins. In the mill, everything starts with debarking. Removing the rough outer layer keeps dirt and grit from damaging blades, and it delivers a uniform surface so the log can move smoothly through the saw line. Logs are also scanned for hidden nails or wire, because one strike of steel can destroy a saw blade in an instant. One of the most critical roles in the mill is the saw filer, an expert who keeps every blade sharp, balancing art and science to ensure smooth cutting and keep the entire plant running. Before a blade even touches wood, modern lasers sweep across the log, creating a 3D model in seconds. Software shows where to cut for the best yield, almost like a blueprint for profit. Then the head rig makes the first major passes. Guided by the sawyer high in a cab, the round tree is squared into a cant, a heavy block of wood that will become dozens of boards. Positioning systems align each log precisely before cutting, giving the sawyer a perfect start. The first cuts open the log, but many boards pass through secondary resaws to recover more wood with thinner blades, making today's mills far more efficient than in the past. Outer slabs too thin for boards are diverted straight to chippers, becoming pulp or fiberboard. Once squared, the cant moves into gang saws that slice multiple boards at once, a thunder of steel turning blocks into lumber. Newer curve saws go one step further. Instead of forcing straight lines, they follow the tree's natural bend. This simple idea saves 5 to 10% more wood, adding millions of board feet each year in mills that run around the clock. Boards fresh off the saw still carry rough, uneven edges. Edgers shave the sides clean, making them straight and uniform. At the trimmer, operators cut boards to standard lengths, 8, 10, or 12 feet, while also removing defects by trimming a foot or two off each end when needed. From here, the boards move to sorting and grading stations, where their final value will be decided. Fresh lumber is still green, holding nearly half its weight in water. To keep boards from twisting or cracking, mills dry them down to about 12 to 19% moisture. Some are air-dried outdoors for months, but most today go into massive kilns, giant ovens that can season lumber in just a few days. Dry lumber still feels rough to the touch, so mills send it through planers to smooth the surface and bring every board to an exact thickness. Once the boards are smooth, they're judged for quality. Straight grain and clear faces earn the top grades, while pieces with knots or curves are set aside for other uses, where strength matters more than looks. Some mills now use cameras and computer vision to grade lumber. Machines scan hundreds of boards a minute, spotting defects faster and more consistently than the human eye, helping mills keep up with today's demand. At this stage, indoor lumber is ready for market, perfect for studs, flooring, or cabinets. Boards meant for outdoor decks or fences need one more step: treatment to resist weather, insects, and rot. Every log that enters the mill leaves behind more than boards. From the very first cut, every byproduct has a purpose. Bark stripped from the log is ground and sold as landscaping mulch, spreading across gardens and parks instead of being burned or dumped. Zs that can't become lumber are chipped and sent to paper mills or used as the core for fiberboard. Even the finest sawdust is blown into silos, pressed into briquettes, or sold as bedding for animals. In a modern sawmill, the waste stream itself is a second economy. Fuel pellets are one of the most important of these byproducts. By compressing sawdust to just 7 to 10% moisture, mills create a fuel that burns hot, steady, and clean. Pellets now heat homes across northern states and are shipped overseas. In fact, the U.S. exported more than 10 million tons in 2024, making it the world's top supplier. Still, as many homeowners know, pellets aren't always cheap. Burning through 6 tons a winter can cost thousands of dollars. Beyond stoves, wood chips power boilers and generate electricity. Researchers are even exploring ways to turn sawdust into methanol, a renewable liquid fuel. Today, over 95% of mill residues in America are reused. Customers and regulators alike expect proof of responsible sourcing, and mills have learned to deliver. As operators often say, nothing is wasted at sawmills. And so the circle closes, from forest to board, From mulch to pellets, every part of the tree finds a purpose. That's how modern lumber remains both efficient and sustainable.